Episode 27. The park attendant took the key. Soon, Jessa and the others surrounded Jeff with mocking smiles on their faces. The group chatted amongst themselves.
This kid has quite a business head. He knows that the people who come here all are white-collar workers, so he'll be able to get some money here.
He seems to have just asked for $2 just now. $2 for one person. That's not a small amount.
Jeff, tell me, how much money do you have now?
The group continued with the insults. They all treated Jeff like you as a beggar. Jessa looked at Jeff, who was picking up some money that someone had dropped on the floor, and thought,
I didn't misjudge Jeff. He's been getting worse and worse these days. He's even thought of asking for money this way.
Thinking of the conspiracy between her and her cousin, the corner of Jessa's mouth curled up into a cold smile. If my cousin fell in love with this kind of loser, it would give Albert Miller a huge shock.
This way, Albert will pursue my cousin more actively.
She thought.
Jeff, that's enough. I'll give you $10. You can pack up your stall for today and come back tomorrow to ask for more money.
Jessa asked for $10 from the boy next door and passed it to Jeff. Jeff accepted it without thinking, but he was cursing on the inside.
I have over $1 billion. How could I possibly ask for money from someone else? Is the universe just joking with me?
However, Jeff didn't have any intention of leaving after taking Jessa's money.
Why aren't you leaving? Was that not enough for you?
Jessa looked at Jeff angrily. Jeff wanted to leave, but his car was still parked there. If they saw him drive a Mercedes-Benz, it would be a huge problem for him. His identity as a super rich kid might be exposed. This was not something Jeff was willing to do.
Get lost.
Jessa was so angry that she kicked Jeff in the butt. Jessa was used to commanding Jeff around and didn't take him seriously at all.
Would she dare to speak to me like that if she knew that I had more than $1 billion in assets?
He wondered. Jeff was too lazy to bother with Jessa. Just when Jeff wanted to leave, another person walked over from the back of the group. It was Rachel Connor,
whom we had seen at the practice field before. Jeff, you came as well.
Rachel greeted him with a smile.
Yes.
Jeff nodded.
Oh, Rachel, you're here,
stated Dean Marshall, who was on the basketball team. He looked over at Rachel with a silly smile. Rachel acted as though she didn't hear him and completely ignored him. Rachel and Jessa had eaten together these past few days, and Dean had shamelessly joined them twice. His frivolous manner had disgusted Rachel. This was a huge blow to Dean. Rachel took the initiative to greet Jeff, but ignored him. Did this mean he couldn't even compare to Jeff? He wondered.
Rachel, actually, his name isn't Jeff at all. He just stands here and asks for money.
Dean snickered, trying to put down Jeff's image.
Is that so?
Rachel looked affectionately at Jeff and said to Jessa.
Anyways, Jeff is on the cheering squad. Let him eat with us.
Rachel spoke a few words of praise for Jeff, and Jessa reluctantly agreed to let him eat with them. Jeff didn't reject Jessa's invitation, and he walked into the restaurant with her and the others. Dean was at the back of the group. He gritted his teeth in anger as he watched Jeff and Rachel walking in front of him. As they entered the restaurant, there were already quite a few people around. Seated in the middle was a large, tall boy with permed hair who was dressed very stylishly. Gerald Torres. He was the captain of the Peston University basketball team and was also Jessa's boyfriend.
Jessa, you sit here, sit down and let's see what they have to eat.
Gerald walked to Jessa's side and naturally held her hand. A trace of desire flashed in his eyes. Gerald then noticed Jeff and frowned.
Huh, isn't he cheerleading crew's nanny? Why is he here too?
The basketball team often trained with the cheerleading team, so Gerald often saw Jeff, but never had any dealings with him.
A loser, who was only fit to carry stuff for the cheerleading team. What was there to socialize with?
Gerald thought. Jessa sneakily glanced at Rachel with a hint of complaint in her eyes. Jessa told Gerald that she had seen Jeff outside asking for money. So she had called him in. If it was annoying, she would ask Jeff to go.
Huh, this guy was asking for money outside. There's no one else but him that would do such a thing.
Gerald laughed out loud after hearing this.
Never mind. This time it's cheap. Just let him have a free meal. Everyone take a seat. My brother is coming too. Just leave a spot for him.
Gerald said as everyone started to sit down. Jessa naturally sat together with Gerald. Jeff was about to sit down when he heard Jessa say,
Jeff, take a seat by the door. There's a breeze. When the waiter goes in and out, you'll help us block the wind, right?
Jessa's idea is pretty good.
Agreed one person.
Jeff, sit by the door and block the wind.
Chimed in another. Jeff didn't care as it was the same no matter where he sat, but Rachel's face turned red and she couldn't help but shout.
Aren't you guys going a little too far? We're all friends here. Do you need to be so hostile toward Jeff?
The mood turned somewhat awkward.
We didn't ask him in the first place. He shamelessly followed us.
Dean muttered. Rachel glared at him and stood up from her seat and moved beside Jeff.
Why did you sit over there? If the wind blows, you'll get cold.
Dean said with concern. Rachel completely ignored him.
Rachel, stop messing around. Come sit beside me.
Jessa said as she walked to Rachel's side and pulled her to sit beside her. Jeff was deeply touched. He looked at Rachel with gratitude. The waiter brought out plates and dishes. At that moment, the room's door was pushed open once again.
Hello, everyone.
A smartly dressed young man came in.
RJ, you're finally here.
Gerald walked up to his brother, RG Torres, and hugged him.
Let me introduce you to everyone. This is my good brother RJ. He went to Japan after graduating from high school and has been getting over jet lag the past few days.
When Gerald made the introductions, he looked at Rachel for a long time as if he was introducing her.
You can sit here.
Rachel suggested. Gerald and RG walked to Rachel's side and gestured for the others to give up their seats. RG sat beside Rachel, giving her a good look up and down. He could not help but feel nervous. Rachel was beautiful, with a white face, thin lips, and ample chest. The previous night, RG asked Gerald to introduce him to a beautiful girl. The photo that Gerald sent him was Rachel's. As a result, he didn't sleep well. RG tried to strike up a conversation with Rachel. He suddenly tried to reveal his family's power to Rachel. He thought this would help win her over. But Rachel ignored him, and it made him even angrier when she paid attention to Jeff, who was sitting by the door.
That kid looks so cheap. Why would he get this gorgeous girl's attention?
RG thought.
Gerald, you haven't introduced that guy to me.
RG whispered as he pointed his fork at Jeff.
Oh, he's the babysitter of the cheerleading squad. He was just at the entrance, asking for money,
said Gerald with an evil smile.
Look at him dressed as a beggar. He's not like us at all. We didn't ask him to come. He only came because Rachel peded him. It was lucky for him to come with us, otherwise he never would have been able to come here.
Dean took the opportunity to step on Jeff's leg begging. RG showed a very surprised expression and said,
He's already into begging, but he hasn't even tried to work hard. This guy's not ambitious. In the real world, he is just a walking corpse. There's no saving him.
Exactly. That's all he'll ever be.
The others agreed. Jeff wasn't really angry, but he did feel it was ridiculous, as he thought to himself.
I'm a super rich person. You guys aren't even fit to carry my shoes. But now, you're shamelessly making fun of me.
Let's not talk about this trash anymore.
Gerald continued.
All right, RJ. Why are you so slow today?
Isn't this good timing for Dad to buy me a new car? I just randomly picked out a car from the lot before coming over.
RG said casually.
You bought a car.
Gerald glanced at Rachel and said,
Tell me, what kind of car did you buy?
It's not a good car. It's only an E-Class Mercedes. I'll drive it for a couple of years, then get a better one when I get married.
RG said. The friends chatted with each other.
RJ's awesome. He's already over E-Class. He doesn't even think it's a good car.
To some it might be a good car, but who is Big RJ? He's been making a splash.
The others started to clap their hands. From the looks of it, RG was richer than Gerald. They followed Gerald's lead to adore RG even more. When the group urged him to go see his car, RG happily agreed.
This was a good opportunity to try and impress Rachel.
The group got up and walked out of the restaurant. RG was the center of attention.
Wait everyone, I'll drive out right now and take you guys to karaoke.
RG said as he jingled the car keys in his hand.
Doesn't the parking attendant have the car key?
A question came up from the crowd, and the others turned to all look at Jeff. Jeff had asked himself this question quietly, so he wasn't expecting everyone else to hear it. He felt rather awkward at that moment. RG looked at Jeff with an unfriendly gaze and sneered.
Idiot. Do you think any random parking attendant will park it for you? Look at this place. It costs a ton of money to park here.
RG felt that very few customers would pay to park their cars, so he didn't feel embarrassed at all.
That's right. When I drove here, there was no one to park my car for me anyways. If you don't understand, then don't speak.
RG said to Jeff.
Ignore him. He's just a fool who's never seen the world before. Yo bro, hurry up and drive.
Ha! Ignorant!
RG cursed as he chatted, laughed with Gerald, and walked to the car. The others stayed at the entrance to wait for them, but 5 minutes later, Jessa called Gerald before they could even get out of the car.
Hey, why isn't he out yet?
Hey, my idiot brother, he dented some guy's G Mercedes.
Gerald whispered into his phone as he walked away from RG in the parking lot.